at what traders have been doing this week, amid some change in volatility, Pete McGuire from XM is joining me now to do just that. Pete, great to have you on the trade as always. Look, how are we looking when it comes to volatility at the moment? Because the VIX a while ago was pretty low.
Well, good afternoon, Kara. I tell you what, it's been volatile, all right. When you're looking at all of the different volatility metrics across the trading arena, you look at the VIX, of course, with the S&P 500. You look at the VIX as far as a volatility for crude oil. Have a look at just the different composition and what we've seen as far as US dollar strengthening, Biden hemorrhaging with his SPR mandate, and all of those other moving parts geopolitically across the whole global landscape. So it's a very interesting last week or two. Quite incredible, actually.
All right, so what have traders been jumping on then? What has been the trade of the week in your mind?
Short gold. I think that's been the glory trade. It's been just incredible what we've seen, and that US dollar index has just boomed. We're nearly at 97, so it's been extraordinary. US dollar index really pushed hard to the upside. Gold came under massive pressure to be sold off, Kara, as we've seen, and all of those components really have been an early Christmas present or a Thanksgiving present for all the traders. So yeah, short gold and crude's been all over the shop as far as volatility. So it's all wrapped up very nicely. Yeah, great time to be trading.
And of course, Euro has been a pretty big trade of the week as well. Did many retail traders get to jump on that?
Oh yeah, globally they would have been smashing it down, and it's been just an absolute early Christmas present. Santa Claus was very, very kind to all of the traders. We've seen a massive capitulation. If you're looking at that graph there, you've seen back to May and where it really, the headline number, that 123 handle, and all of a sudden it's just capitulated down to that 112. So yeah, it's been very, very strongly bid down or bid up as far as US dollar, and just enormous profits to be made when you're looking at what we've seen in the last month or two on the euro.
I mean, when you're in a trade like this, Pete, a trailing stop might work pretty well.
Absolutely, Kara. They're the metrics you've got to look at. As far as how you put together a trade, you're looking at, first off, that ongoing saga. What's happening with taper? What's happening with COVID? Where the PMIs are? So your fundamental roadmap has got to be comprehensively analysed, and you don't need a PhD. You just need some raw metrics and just understand the twos and throws. Then you come to your technicals, and as you just said, your rolling stops. If you put a moving average across that, some Bollinger Bands and a couple of other indicators, relative strength index, and there's a plethora of them, Kara, as you know, then you can really do quite nicely out of that euro sell-off and what we've experienced. And that's just the first part. The US dollar has been extraordinary move to the upside. So Aussie got hammered, Kiwi, have a look at the yen, have a look at pound. They've all shown wonderful opportunities.
Well, let's talk about crude, because I know it's one of your favourite trades. Volatility, what have we been seeing and how have traders jumped on that?
First off, we're all anticipation as far as the Biden administration and the SPR. So that's for the viewers, the strategic petroleum reserves. Remember, Trump filled those up with cheap oil and did a great job there. I'm not singing the praises of him, but he did a great job in building that capacity back up. And they're primarily used in times of war. So able to fill up oil. Oil was cheap. It was $1.50, $1.80 a gallon. Everything's good. You've got California now sitting at some places $6 and $7 a gallon. So that's really hitting the consumer very, very hard. And that story, as far as what we were going to see, crude being sold off, the impact as far as inflation, and the SPR release. There's the volatility index of crude oil. That really demonstrates big swings. But really, that was the Biden initiative. Now he said 50 million barrels. India threw 5 million. No one else has come to the party. Japan might throw a couple of yen in there, but I don't think China's going to do much either. So it's been a laughing stock to Biden, and it really hasn't been successful because everything they wanted to do, crude expecting to go down, it's actually gone up, and you've fractured the relationships, of course, with Riyadh and Washington, Kara.
Pete, we're heading into Thanksgiving and of course Black Friday.
Yep.
Volumes might be lower this week. If you're a trader in the Asian session and volumes are lower and you're looking at the US session as well, how do you kind of change that mindset? What might be some jumpy moves?
Well, that US dollar, I mean, that's where everyone's been heading up. So that US dollar index has just boomed over the last couple of days. It's continued upside. So there's the story there. Are we going to see that continuation? What's happening as far as, do we see a 97 handle breached for the US dollar index? Going back 12 months, we've had a low in the last 12 months of 89. So that just demonstrates the volatility across the currency sector, Kara. So yeah, there's been a choppy day as far as equities today in Asia. I keep a close eye on what's happening with gold. We could see a bounce up. We could also see some further upside as far as crude. And it's going to be, I think, the volatility will remain for the rest of the week. Friday could be a bit quiet. People might take a long weekend in the States. And let's just see what happens. But I'm still looking for some more surprises.
Longer term, Pete, are you in the Santa rally camp? Do you think those US equities in the US can continue just higher?
Maybe. You might see a little bit more move to the upside. It's been an enormous rally for 12 months or longer, Kara. So yeah, maybe the Santa Claus rally continues. The momentum trade, all of that. We're also going to put money. The storyline as far as taper, what's happening with rates, where the uncertainty. Powell's still in. Brainard didn't get the gig. So, yeah, I think overall you might see a little bit further move to the upside for equities over the next 4 to 5 weeks. I'm not looking for surprises in equities. If it's sold off, it's sold off. I mean, no one can tell because it could be fully priced. We'll just have to wait and see. Earnings, COVID reissuing, that's the story that I'm hugging myself with. What happens with COVID in the likes of Europe, and does that go across and roll across another rerun across the US? So that's the mindset that I'm looking at, and it's out here somewhere. Does it come into play, Kara?
Pete, are you a set and forget trader, or are you kind of looking at the markets all the time?
You've got to look at it every second. You've got to be on it. I mean, you've got to hold positions, Kara. The market's too volatile. This is open 24 hours a day. That's big swings. You've got to look at, it depends on the size of your position, depends on your risk metrics, depends on how much ammunition you're throwing at a trade. But yeah, I think a lot of traders they're very mindful. They've set their phones up, their iPads, they've got their stops. It covers all parts of the compass as far as age, from 18 to 80 or 18 to 90, male and female. Everyone can have a go. And not only that, different professions. So, it's all about doing your homework, understanding what's going on, and really don't marry a trade. That's the best advice I can give. And if a trade's going against you and all the indicators show that, then get the hell out of there.
Pete, I'm not sure when you sleep, but I love it. Thanks so much for joining us on The Trade as always.
I sleep like a baby, Kara.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.